It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion. This is for Friday, the 23rd of August. I'm Michael Groff. I hope you enjoyed last night's active weather across the area because, we're not going to be seeing any more of that for a while. Monsoon activity headed out of here as drier air is now moving in. And so shower and storm activity today will be limited to east central and southeast Arizona. And over the weekend, we'll see less and less storm activity across the state. And especially, of course, here in the valley. The question is, when will the rain come back? Or will it come back? Are we done with our monsoon season? Well, probably not, but you never know. We'll talk about all of that plus temperatures and everything else going on too as we dive on in. But before we do that, it is Friday, and that means it's Photo Friday here. That's where we take a look at some of the photos and or videos that you guys have submitted. And all right, if I can get this to work. Oh, technical problems. All right, first up, David Parnell. This is from, of course, high school sports getting started again very soon. This is actually from last October, but he wanted us to see this now, I guess. So there you go, from Apollo High School. Hey, I'm sure he'll be out taking more pictures from all the high school sports. It's hard to believe it's already that time of the year. All that stuff's getting going here very soon. Then we go up to Big Sky Country. This is from Buck in Helena, Montana. And they could sure use some more showers and storms and rain up there in central and eastern portions of that state. They did see some over the last several days. He caught a few of these storms rolling on into the area. Good to see that. Then Carson from the East Valley, the Mesa Gilbert area. Cool pictures here. Nice looking sunset right there. Gary out in Buckeye says, it's very dry out in Buckeye. It is. The West Valley, very dry. Then he took this picture. This is actually from a while ago as well, from the archives and out there in North Peoria. Look at that. Very ominous. Man, cool looking shot right there. Then Jim up in Rio Verde. Love these pictures. This one in particular. That is awesome. Love to see that. This one is from Thaddeus. And again, you guys do such a great job with these pictures. Thank you so much for sending these in. And then Zane down in Brisbane, Australia, as we go international here. This is actually from Calbar, Australia, but either way, it's still winter time down there. They're beginning to transition, though. They're beginning to head towards spring as we head toward fall. And just a reminder, meteorological fall is just a little bit over a week away. Looking forward to that. And then, of course, we've got video to roll here. A couple of shots here. This is from Brandon. The storms that came through the West Valley a couple of nights ago. And some thunder and some locally heavy rain, at least briefly. And, man, I'll tell you what, this was an interesting storm. Some very, very impressive lightning out of this. Even set a tree on fire. I tried to capture that. Driving along. Got a burning tree there. And Ryan Seek, our resident monsoon photographer. He's probably going to be relatively bored over the next 7 days, I'm afraid. I hope not, but that's the way it's looking. But he's down there. These were taken pretty close to Florence, looking at a couple of different storms that were developing. One put out some very impressive hail. And that was a theme of storms that we saw yesterday. Over inch and a half diameter hail in a couple of those storms and some very heavy rain, but in localized spots. And you can even see in that one, the rain shaft coming out of that. That's not a very big rain shaft, but if you're under that, man, you are just getting absolutely drenched. And that's how these storms have gone this week. So thank you, Ryan. Thank you, everybody. Man, we could not do this without you. Photo Friday. We do it each and every week. Thank you guys so much for all of your submissions. Hopefully we'll have more monsoon stuff to take a look at. And you want to submit your photos or videos, groffshow@gmail.com is the email address. That is groffshow@gmail.com for Photo Friday. All right. Checking that almanac from yesterday. 110 degrees was the afternoon high. 83 was the low, but that occurred in the evening with those thunderstorms that came through. And Sky Harbor Airport picked up almost a quarter of an inch, 24/100ths of an inch officially in the bucket at Sky Harbor. And we'll take a look at some rainfall totals from around the area. But look, we'll take whatever we can get. It's not much, and this monsoon season is still ranking well below average in terms of rainfall, but at least we got something. Well, at least some of you got something. 105 and 83 are the averages for this time of the year. By the way, that's 52 days now in the year with a high temperature at or above 110. Although we don't see any 110s in the forecast for the next 7 to 10 days. Looking outside right now, just before 1 o'clock, partly cloudy sky, 101 degrees at Sky Harbor, but the dew point you can see is coming down. Dew point at 56, humidity 23%, a light wind, the barometer steady. All right, here's some rainfall totals from across the area yesterday. What you'll notice here is there was not much over the West Valley, and those totals that you do see in the West Valley, those weren't really from the storms that came through in the evening. We had a couple of little cells in the morning and one at about midday that came through Avondale and Litchfield and dumped a little bit of rain, as much as a few hundredths of an inch with that. And then the East Valley, Mesa, Gilbert, Chandler, Apache Junction. You guys didn't see much rain from these storms last night. It was all pretty much centered in central Maricopa County. I mean, right through downtown Phoenix and up into Scottsdale. And so some decent rainfall totals there. You can see over an inch and a half there at, of all places, 64th Street and Osborne. Scottsdale, 86 of an inch of rain. Arcadia at Studio A, just 13 of an inch. Here in Studio B, 200 of an inch in Avondale. And then Sky Harbor, you can see, chimes in with that 24 of an inch. But hey, there was a number of spots that saw nothing. Now, way over there toward Horse Mesa Dam, obviously, they had some rain. And some of those spots way over there toward Saguaro Lake, far eastern parts of Maricopa County and north central Pinal County, you saw some rain. But the East and West Valley, kind of nothing there. Unusual to see the rain march right up downtown like that, though, and right into Scottsdale. All right, the upper level weather pattern across the nation shows the pattern is changing. High pressure remains anchored over the central plain states across Texas and Oklahoma, but an anomalously deep upper low now sits over the Pacific Northwest, with the center of that low west of Portland. And, you know, these are the kinds of lows, the intensity of this low, we see more in late September as opposed to late August. And these are generally the kind of storms that we see that bust the monsoon, pretty much end it for us, usually at the end of the season. Issue these, bring in these transitional type events like we saw yesterday. And that's the kind of low we've got out there, and deep southwesterly flow coming in, and that's going to be a dry flow of air for us. So nothing really to look forward to as far as that goes. And with that low continuing to deepen, the air is going to continue to dry out. And monsoon moisture will be shunted further and further away from us going into the weekend. But the good news is, with the presence of that low, temperatures are going to be relatively close to seasonal averages over the next few days, maybe just a degree or 3 above the climatological normals. All right, here's the watch warning map. Few things jump out at you here. Of course, heat still a problem under the ridge there across the southern plain states. Dry conditions in the west with the red flag warnings and fire danger advisories here from the Great Basin up into parts of the Intermountain West. We do have tropical storm warnings now posted for parts of Hawaii, the waters surrounding the Hawaiian Islands, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. Convective outlook for today. Risk of severe storms north of the state, the standard slight risk, hey, over parts of Montana. In fact, most of Montana in some sort of risk for severe storms, really from Utah up through parts of Idaho, eastern Washington, Oregon, and out into the plain states. And in Arizona, that level 1 out of 5 marginal risk for the far northern portions of the state and the southeastern corner. From about Tucson eastward, down toward Nogales, Douglas, Bisbee, Sierra Vista, Safford, basically for eastern Pima, Santa Cruz, Graham, Greenlee, Cochise, maybe far southern Navajo and Apache counties could see some, or the northern portions of Navajo and Apache counties as well, and northern Coconino County up around Page could see some strong storms today that put out some gusty winds and maybe some large hail too, like we saw yesterday. But here in Phoenix, just don't think we're going to see anything. The tropics, it's the 23rd of August, and this map is dead in the Atlantic Basin. Now, some of the prognosticators, the AccuWeather folks, and many of the Hurricane Center, all the different outlooks had a very active season. And you know what? So far, it got off to a very big start with Beryl, but boy, it's been pretty quiet. We had Ernesto, but other than that, I mean, things have been really kind of quiet here so far. Now, that doesn't mean it won't heat up as we get into September. That is the climatological peak of the hurricane season. But right now, it is quiet and will remain so for the next 7 days in the Atlantic Basin. Now, a little different in the Pacific. We've got Hurricane Gilma out here. But that's kind of a fish storm. At least that's how it looks right now. But we also have this guy, Hurricane Hone, or Tropical Storm Hone, rather. It may become a hurricane. Right now, top wind's 45 miles per hour. It's moving to the west-northwest. This will pass south of the Big Island of Hawaii later Saturday night and Sunday. May briefly become a hurricane as it passes south of the island chain, giving some very gusty winds and bringing about obviously some high surf, and some of these outer bands of this storm could certainly bring some gusty winds and some locally heavy rain. Now, it doesn't look like it's going to directly make landfall there in the Hawaiian Islands, but that is a possibility that it will skirt just south of the islands, and you're still in the cone of uncertainty, so you want to keep an eye on the evolution of this storm. All right. Precipitation outlook valid through Friday morning of next week. Rain amounts in Phoenix. Hey, we actually have some color on this map for us. Rain amounts generally under 1/4 of an inch. The guys at WPC believe that some rain chances come back into our area next week. I'm not completely sold on that. We'll talk about why that is as we get to the models. Right now, here we go. The GFS, it's the 12Z run. This is valid at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Okay, ridge to the east, deep upper low to the northwest of us. That thing, I mean, upper heights are around 2 to 3 standard deviations below average for late August. That's a very powerful cold storm system for this time of year, I mean, relatively speaking. And it's ushering in some deep southwesterly wind in here, and that's drying us out. So what it means down at the surface for the rest of the day today, some clouds, but I'd say mostly sunny to partly cloudy. Scattered showers and storms across east, central, and southeast Arizona, and a few of those storms could be rather strong. Generally from a line from about Nogales to Tucson up toward Show Low and eastward from there over toward Window Rock and St. John's. And obviously, the southeastern corner of the state, Bisbee and Douglas and Sierra Vista, yes, you could see some pretty decent storms out of this. But for us, it's dry. High temperatures 102 to 107. Tonight, mostly clear. Drier air is working in. Overnight lows will drop mainly into the mid-70s to mid-80s. And then tomorrow, mostly sunny. The air mass continues to dry out. High temperatures anywhere from about 102 to 106. We may add on a degree or two for the afternoon highs on Sunday. But boy, those overnight lows Saturday night and Sunday morning will drop in the 70s for many of us. Again, if you're in the urban core, you're in downtown Phoenix, you're in Arcadia, you're down there toward Sky Harbor Airport, whatever, you might stay in the 80s overnight, but most everybody else should drop into the 70s, which will feel pretty good compared to how it's been going most of the summer. Just a sign, a subtle hint of things to come. Now, of course, we're still hot in the daytime. Here's Monday. Still a few showers and storms across eastern Arizona. The GFS is more reluctant to push the moisture too far away from us, and this becomes sort of an interesting quandary as we go forward with the forecast here. But Monday for us looks dry. High temperatures still around 104 to 108. More or less the same thing on Tuesday. Some of our guidance does build this ridge from the southern plains all the way back into the southwest and brings moisture back into the area by Tuesday and Wednesday for some scattered afternoon and evening showers and storms. This run of the GFS doesn't show that. But the GFS has certainly been doing some flip-flopping on this, and so this run, it just happens to be pretty dry. But we've seen other runs where it's not. And we've seen the same thing from the deterministic European and from all of our ensemble members. I would say right now the trend is about 70% of the ensemble members show drier conditions next week. There's about 30% being wetter. And which solution, is the right one? Well, we'll have to see, I guess, because I would favor the drier solution right now. That certainly makes more sense, because what happens is the GFS is breaking a little piece of energy away from this big low that's moving through the west right now, kind of just hangs it back and prevents the ridge from really building and keeps more or less a southwesterly flow in place for most of next week across Arizona. And so that would serve to keep shower and storm activity confined to mainly southeast Arizona, northern Mexico, and New Mexico. And any chance of rain would stay away from us. This is Thursday off the GFS. And again, most of Arizona is dry if we take this at face value. And again, if we do have some sort of weak or baggy troughing to the north and west of us, afternoon high temperatures wouldn't be terrible. Again, I'm, not exactly, you're not going to go out and have a picnic in it, but high temperatures would generally be anywhere from about 102 to 107 on any given day, if this is right. All right, let's go out to a week from today. This is Friday the 30th. Again, the GFS does have ridging over the Pacific Northwest, but some type of weak little baggy low that sits over Northern California. And sort of a hanging trough here over the southwest, a very weak one at that, but a light southwesterly flow would continue, and any ridging, any sort of return flow or monsoon flow does not appear to be evident here going out 10 days. This is Sunday, the 1st of September. It's the start of meteorological fall. We've got a trough over the Great Lakes, got a ridge over the Pacific Northwest, but we still have this weak little baggy trough here over the west, and that would serve to keep us dry. Light southwesterly flow aloft would still be in place. Now, is that ultimately what's going to happen? Well, I don't know. That it seems a little unusual to have a feature like that hang around for so long at this time of the year, but the ensembles generally are keeping us relatively dry, or at least the majority of them, through next week. But this can change, and this has been a season, even though it's been a dud of a monsoon season. It's been a non-soon monsoon. You can't let your guard down. Anything is still possible. This is weather, after all, and crazy things do happen. All right, looking at rainfall for Phoenix off the GFS ensemble. The mean about 1/3 of an inch. European ensemble, not much here. Mean is under 1/4 of an inch. Temperatures off the national blend of models, and again, I caution you, what you don't see here is highs of 110 plus, but that doesn't mean we're done with the 110-degree temperatures for the season just yet. We'd like to think we are. We sure hope we are. We would love it if yesterday was the last one. We've had way too many of them already. But again, just like I said, don't let your guard down on that either. Going into September, we can see them all the way through mid-September. It has happened before, and this is just, it's been one of those kind of years. But still, whether it's 110 or 107 or 108, I mean, does it really matter? It's still hot. So that's where we're going to be, but at least not record-breaking heat, nothing that we can't handle, and certainly nothing that's all that out of bounds for late August and early September here in Phoenix. But there are signs that maybe the heat is just very slowly starting to break. Maybe I shouldn't say break, but more like crack, chip. All right, and that's going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video is due back here on Monday morning. Of course, updates before that if necessary. Should you happen to enjoy these videos, and of course, why would you sit through all this if you didn't? I mean, maybe you're a masochist. I don't know. Maybe you like to watch stuff you don't like. I don't know. You hate watch these videos. Well, whatever the case, whether you love them, whether you hate them, whether you hate watch them, whatever it is, be sure to like, subscribe, share, click that notification bell. That way, whenever a brand new video is posted, you can hate watch it all you want. Curse my name. All right. Your comments, questions, and suggestions, they're always encouraged as well. All right. And click that thanks icon below the video if you really like what we do here, or if you hate what we do here and you want me to go away. If you pay me enough money, I mean, I'll just go away. I mean, you know, if I got enough money, I'll retire. And so that would be great. So, you know, if that's what you want to do, if you want to pay me away or pay me not to do these videos, that would be great. Can you imagine? That'd be awesome. No, but seriously, if you really like what we do here, you want to thank us, click that thanks icon below the video, make those monetary contributions, or you can donate directly via PayPal. groffshow@gmail.com is the address. It is groffshow@gmail.com for PayPal. All right, the executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion is my one and only, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation and proprietor of sweetchildaz.com.org and the Facebook page of the same name, Sweet Child Arizona, talking about my Michelle. Check her out. Check out her videos. Check out everything Michelle related. It is all linked up down in the description. You know what else is linked up in the description? Our streaming station. Available 24/7, 365. It is called KMGX. What do we do there? We play a ton of music. We have a lot of fun with it. It's there for you, and it's linked up again down there, so check it out. That's the promotion on that. I mean, thousands of songs. I don't know. There's definitely not a mix of music that eclectic anywhere on the internet. I guarantee you that. All right, thank you guys so much for watching, all of your continued support. We could not do these videos without you. Of course, we couldn't do Photo Friday without you either. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys be safe, stay cool, stay hydrated out there. Have yourselves a great Friday and a wonderful weekend.